From the album Hats Off to Haggard, I Wonder Where I'll Find You At Tonight. That's one of the lesser-known Merle Haggard songs, but it's on this Hats Off to Haggard album that we're featuring this week here on Bluegrass Junction. I've got J.D. Crowe and Ricky Wasson here. I'm Kyle Cantrell, and we're going track by track through this album here today. They're the big, Ricky, they're the big Merle Haggard hits, and then there are the lesser-known songs.
That were still hits that just didn't get known.
Yeah, and if you were a Merle Haggard fan,
yeah,
you knew those songs. And if you weren't and happened to hear one of them, you thought, wow, where's that been hiding on?
And they were hundreds of songs like that. That just didn't make the top of the chart, but equally as good a song. And, I hadn't heard that song much, and J.D. brought that. And the way he structured that song, it's got 3 verses and then a chorus. And he put all the courses together, and, it's amazing how he arranged the music, but that was a lot of fun. That song there was totally different, put together song for us, but turned out pretty good.
I love the way that you've included some of those lesser known songs on this album, and I imagine the temptation might be to just record the big hits, but you've kind of got a good mixture.
We tried to get a good mixture. Yeah. We wanted to get.
Just like Ricky was saying. And to me, some of his songs, that should have been hits, weren't. Mm-hmm. And to me, that song there that you just mentioned, I love that about as good as anything he ever did.
Of course, I'm a fan, but it's hard for me to find a song, especially among the ones he wrote, that doesn't sound like a hit.
That's right. This is true.
The quality of it.
Yeah,
the quality. Well written.
Goes back to the quality of the songwriting.
Sure.
Yeah. You were alluding earlier to the fact that, there are hundreds of songs that you could have chosen to be on this album. What was the thought process to narrow it down? You got 12 songs here. What was the thought process that pulled it back to?
When we started talking about it, JD, we both decided, I said, well, you pick 6 songs and I'll pick 6 songs. And so we both ended up picking about 12 each. And so we get in the studio and start working the songs up, and there's some songs that you just say, well, I like Mama's Hungry Eyes. There's nobody can, but I wanted to sing that song, and just some songs that I really want to sing, and most of the music I've been able to record up until this album, I've been singing a little bit out of my range as far as I have to sing high, 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 and my voice, since I've the age, I'm almost 29 now, and
sure you are,
and my voice has dropped. Yeah. So these songs is more, and so it's songs that you pick songs that you think you can do justice on, but that's really hard to do when you're trying to sing Merle Haggard songs. But you just do the best you can do. But the way we, there's certain songs that we knew we had to do, and then just like the gospel song that J.D. brought. I'd never heard that song, but it's really hard to just pick 12 songs that Merle Haggard wrote.
Well, and most of these songs they weren't conceived as bluegrass songs.
No.
And so, how did your role in this figure into it, JD, in terms of the banjo playing?
Well,
did you hear some songs and you said to yourself, I might be able to do a neat banjo thing on that.
Right. Well, I try to pick something that we didn't want to do a bunch of up-tempo things. There's so much of that's been done already.
Of course.
And I wanted to pick a few I think most of them are, there's nothing real fast, mostly medium, up-tempo, and do that. But there again, I wanted to do a lot of some of the slow stuff, because I love to do backup on the slow stuff. Just real subtle in this type of songs. There you don't really drive. Let me put the hard drive in them. You got to lay back on these songs, and the groove is different than all of us have been used to playing in, and you have to play in that groove kind of that they were recorded in. And you kind of keep the songs in perspective of the way they were recorded, but yet do them a little different the way you do them.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep that separated that
Yeah.
way, you know.
And if you get too far out of that groove, you can change.
You
You can
ruin
change
the
the
song.
meaning of the song.
Yes,
really.
you ruin it.
You know,
That's
you
right.
might not change the words, but you
No.
change the whole feel. And
Right.
the
You want
emotion
to keep
of it.
that same kind of a feel
Yeah.
and the structure of the songs.
Yeah. Well, I've always enjoyed your backup playing on the slower songs, even going back to Jimmy Martin days. You know,
yeah.
the things that you played with him, you know,
Right.
and you know, a lot of those songs were
Well,
sort of down tempo and
I've always thought a lot of people, I guess, hear more of the lead playing.
sure.
I always thought the backup is probably the most important part of the music,
Interesting.
because what you're doing is you're helping the singer. You want to make him sound as good as you can,
Right.
or any instrument that's in front of you. You want to make them sound as good as they can, but
And-
don't step on them.
And that's a challenge, you know. when
Excuse me. Yes, it is.
when you've got, especially when you've got an instrument that has a voice like a banjo.
Yeah, it sustains
Yeah.
a lot. Well, some of course like electric guitars. You know, you get a note, but it sustains, and you just be very subtle with it to complement the song.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hope some of these young players are listening, and because you're getting advice from the master right there. I mean, if there's anybody you should be listening to, especially if you're a banjo player, J.D. Crowe is it. Well, we're privileged to have him in the studio along with Ricky Wasson in this album, Hats Off to Haggard. We're going to go on to a song called California Cotton Fields next, and this song is it's kind of become a bluegrass classic, I guess, because of the Seldom Scene and other people who have done it over the years. I love what you guys have done with this song, though.
Well, I don't think Merle wrote that song, but he sung it.
Yeah, it was.
And of course, whenever he sung a song, it was his.
Yeah, he made it his.
That's right. He made it his.
Dallas Frazier, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Dallas Frazier, Earl
Great
Montgomery, the
songwriter.
names that,
Great songwriter.
I see on here. Let's get this song on. Merle could certainly relate to the story in this song too, if you know the story of his early life
Right.
and leaving Oklahoma and going to California and so forth. Here is California Cotton Fields from the Hats Off to Haggard Bluegrass tribute to Merle Haggard. J.D. Crowe and Ricky Wasson on Bluegrass Junction.